What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Alex here for Impact. We are live and in living color. Hopefully, we don't have any issues this round. We got Team Impact member Ben on Kethis combo against Derek on Goryos Vengeance. Both players are 1-1. This is going to be a pretty fun one. Thank you all so much for joining us. If you're watching live, make sure to hit that follow button. Consider subscribing. If you're watching on YouTube, though, it's free to subscribe. So you should do that. And, of course, share the video with all of your friends. I don't know why our audio keeps going out on the player's side of things, but we shall prevail. Thank you all so much for joining us. We are rocking and rolling with round 3 of 4 tonight. Ben always playing some sweet decks. Not that Goryos Vengeance isn't, but Derek has been playing Goryos Vengeance for some time now. So, but Ben's always switching it up, playing different decks, and Kethis combo is a pretty fun deck. If you don't know, I'm going to try and bring Kethis up here on screen for you. Hopefully things work out in my favor. All right, we're doing it. Yeah, there we go. All right, there's Kethis, the hidden hand. It is a 3-mana, 3/4 of white, black, and green. Legendary spells you cast cost 1 less, and then you can exile 2 legendary cards from your graveyard. Until the end of your turn, each legendary card in your graveyard gains. You may play this card from your graveyard. And we are already off to the races for Ben. Looks like we got a Bobble, an Emery Lurker in the lock, separating his legendaries from his non-legendary graveyard, and he's kind of explaining that to Derek now. But this is a really sweet card. I hope at least Ben gets to combo off one time, so we at least get to see it once. Not rooting for Ben. I know both these guys. Here's a Junji Ito Thoughtseize, and that will be, yep, Mox Amber, the only get there. Interesting, Ben didn't play it. He could have, but now it's in the graveyard, so he can just cast it next turn with that Emery, assuming it sticks around. But, yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. Having a good time here at Impact tonight. Got a ton of Commander players and about 18 Modern players tonight, so. And that is the Urza Saga, I believe. So Ben has a lot of foils, a lot of alternate arts, a lot of secret layers, things like that. So try to keep up, folks, because he plays the shiny promos and alternate arts in almost all of his decks. The interesting thing about Urza Saga, excuse me, Urza Saga in this deck is it doesn't cast Kethis. Derek says, don't forget about your Urza Saga. Didn't quite get a good read on what Ben drew, but he is going to pass back to Derek now. Derek going to take his turn. Plays land, it looks like. Yep. There's a swamp. And here's a Goryos Vengeance. What you got? He's going to fetch out. Believe that is the green-white surveil land. Just kidding. Just going to get an island, I think. Here's Atraxa. The one-winged angel herself. So Derek's going to take a look at the top 10 cards. Reveal them. And he gets to take one of each type of card. So he's separating them into lands, creatures, instants, sorceries, planeswalkers, artifacts. So he's taking a prismatic ending. It is Atraxa and Quantum Riddler are the creatures. Goryos Vengeance. And I think that's Ephemerate. I think we're... So he must have another Ephemerate in hand, maybe? Yeah, as I said earlier, Derek's been playing this deck for a while. Pretty proficient with it. Obviously, both these players 1-1 tonight. Third round is always kind of the round where we try and get some of the X1s on camera. Shout out to King Stargrave on that follow earlier. Appreciate you. And there's the Ephemerate. And there's an Otawara going to bounce the Atraxa back to hand. Yeah, so that'll fizzle the Ephemerate. But Derek still did a pretty good job of getting a lot of value in his hand there. Going to discard the Marsh Flats, and Ben's going to take his turn. Urza going to get a tick up to 3. And are we making mana or making a dude? Looks like we'll make one colorless. So Ben gets to search up a 1-drop artifact. And it's going to be Mox Opal. Another Emery, so one's going to get sacrificed. There's a grinding station. That's pretty good. So I don't have audio on the table right now, so I'm not sure exactly what Ben's saying. But he's definitely going to cast this here grinding station. And he'll pass back, so he's one step closer. He needs a Kethis. If he can find a Kethis, I think he almost wins on the spot. But let's see what Derek has to say about this. Here's a Goryos Vengeance. There's a Gristlebrand. So Gristlebrand is on the battlefield. Attack for 7. Take it a 1. Gain 7, pay 7, draw 7. Oh, man, I love Gristlebrand. I love Gristlebrand so much. Gonna ephemerate the Gristlebrand. Got a huge grip right now. Probably gonna have to discard it. And the 3 cards on the table are also in his hand. Ben reminding him. But yeah, Ben's at 1. But Ben could win out of nowhere. Very interesting matchup. Just gonna discard all these. Riddler, Solitude, Emperor of Bones, and a couple lands. Gonna sack this, draw our mill 2, 3. And there's Kethis. Typically not the card you want to mill, as it can't be played back. Mill, sack itself, mill 1, 2, 3. And now he's got to think. I'm not sure there's a way for him to get out of this one. We'll see. What's the game plan? We're going to activate Emery. And yep, Ben is going to come to the conclusion that he cannot win this game. Therefore, he will scoop it up. And we will move to game number 2 here in the feature match area. What's up, everybody? Alex here again with Impact. We've got this round and then one more round of Modern action tonight, so keep it locked in here. This is a interesting matchup because both players really do not care one iota of what the other player is doing. I'm sure their sideboards are going to come in and they're going to switch that up a little bit, have some tech, but overall these two probably not caring a whole lot what each player is doing, just trying to execute their combo as quickly as possible. Like I said, I hope Ben is able to pull off the combo at least once so y'all get to see what this deck is capable of. It was a powerhouse when it was in Standard. It actually got banned in Pioneer because it was really good. And it was among the first on the first ban list in Pioneer. But in Modern, it really hasn't found its footing. But if Ben's playing it, there must be something to it, obviously. Ben's always on the cutting edge when it comes to these cool combo decks. But we shall see. Obviously, this next game, Ben's going to be on the play. So we'll see if he can get a win under his belt and push it to a game 3. But let's kick it to this cam. Well, I can't. I'm going to try and get you to be able to listen in. All right, all right. Let's get it back down. All righty, here we go. Don't have audio for the players. That's fine, though. There's going to be Mox Opal. And there's Imri. So, mill 4. And his engine, one of the pieces of his engine are online. Swing and a miss, though, on what he hit there. Would have loved to have hit a Mox Amber or a grinding station. Grinding station, if you remember, was part of the old Breach combo deck that kind of plagued the metagame for a while and ended up getting Underworld Breach banned. So quite a powerful card. And here's another Emery. And we did find a Mox Amber. There's a Mishra's Bauble. And there's Teferi. Just an uptick. And a pass back. Activation of the Bauble there. And here's a Riddler. Gonna draw the card off the Riddler trigger. And ephemerate it, so this Riddler is here to stay, and we'll draw another card. Not exactly where you want to be if you're Derek. But he's got the Riddler in play. For now. And now he doesn't. So Teferi going to bounce the Riddler back to hand. Ben going to draw a card off of it. Flooded Strand. Temple Garden got. Been moving the Mox Opal up to signify currently it cannot tap for mana. Another Emery cast. And here's Kethis, the star of the show. And now we have Mishra's Bauble, which is going to turn the Mox Opal online, and we might see a victory here. Kethis might take this one away. Because we can make blue. Cast another Emery. Sacrifice the Emery. Mill 4. Oh, wow. Yep. And we hit all goodies. Here's another Opal. We'll mill 3 more, or 4 more rather. So we still got to keep... The whole thing with that makes it tricky with Kethis is you got to keep exiling legendaries. Looks like we're wanting... So you have to have a lot of forethought when you're exiling, because if you exile something that you'll need later on in the game or later on in the turn, it could just kill you. But I imagine this isn't the first rodeo for Ben. And I imagine he's probably going to be able to find a path to victory here. So all these are unlocked. He can cast whichever one he wants. So I'm going to go with Mox Opal. Make another mana. Here is Emery. 2, 3, and 4. So Tameo, the one available. Make another mana. Make another mana. This is Jace, the Perfected Mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Milling himself here. And Jace, the Perfected Mind is a win condition. So once he mills himself out, he then can just do whatever he wants and win the game with Jace. Getting all of his mana rocks ready. Mills himself. Now he's Hellbent. And Kethis kind of works like Past in Flames, where once you exile the 2 legendaries, that version of your graveyard, the legendaries in it can be cast. It's not like you need to exile 2 each time. It's just each version. And here we go. Ashiok Dreamrend. And that's going to be... That's going to be that. So Ben takes the W. And we move to a game 3, folks. Kick it back to the sideboard here. Interesting stuff. I like Kethis. I know it's a lot to keep up with, I'm sure. But very interesting deck. I like these kind of weird, odd win conditions for these crazy combo decks. They're really fun. All right, let's kick it back to here. All right, here we go. Game 3. This is going to be a barn burner, folks. Let's see. Derek on the play. Both players have a W. Mox Amber. Mox Opal. And the little dude that says he can't cast spells. And there's an Emery. So that was a pretty darn good first turn. And even hit a Mox Opal. So, yeah, things are looking pretty good here for Ben heading into Derek's second turn. Derek going to fetch, probably hit a Surveil land of some description, and try and have himself a pretty good turn, too. All right. Malevolent Rumble. The spell bomb gonna slow Ben down, but I'm sure Ben has contingency plans. There's a Tameo. There's a Soul Guy Lantern. So both players getting their hate pieces out there early and often. All righty, back to Ben. And all right. Gonna make a clue. Gonna draw a card. There's a Teferi. Gonna flip the Tameo. Gonna uptick. Not that. Well, Derek might want to get to some attacking at some point, but Derek just gonna pass back. All right, here's a frog and a way to discard some cards, but those two hate pieces on Ben's side of the table, Derek's not loving it here. Here's Teferi. Well, he could try to bounce the spell bomb here, force Derek to do something. Let's see if that's the route that Ben wants to take. I can hear Ben talking very faintly from outside the door. He's going to bounce the frog here. Odawara? There's grinding station. Okay. Attacking with the Emery. That's where we're at right now. Not what you want to be doing. Trust me. Here's a Kethis. And an attack from the Emery. So we're ultimating Tameo here, which I don't even know what this Tameo does. This Tameo's ultimate does. I'm going to find out, and we're going to get it on screen, but I think it means he draws some crazy amount of cards and then doesn't have a maximum hand size the whole game or something. All right, here it is. Draw cards equal to number half of your library size rounded down. You get an emblem that says you have no maximum hand size. I think this is the second time I've seen this happen. So Ben just trying to do this the hard way, basically. Oh, and the spell bomb has been dealt with. So Ben just wins this game, I think. Another bobble. I'm going to sacrifice it. Mox Opal. We're going to tap, add a mana, sacrifice it. 2, 3. I'm assuming that we're making blue mana with this. 3 cards into the library. Mox Opal. Sacrifice. Mill the last 3 cards of the library. Imagine like a Spell Pierce or something here. All right, exile 2 cards. We have access to the graveyard now. Mox Amber, gonna untap. Mox Opal. Tap. Mill you 2. Well, there's a Force of Negation, so... Mill you 2. Jace. So he's just going for the Mill Derek out plan. Yeah, that's going to do it. Been creating somewhat of a loop here. And been going to take this one. Wow. Impressive stuff here. This Kethis deck is super cool, if you ask me. But that's going to do it for round 3. Ben's going to improve to 2 and 1. Derek going to drop to 1 and 2. All right, we got round 4 coming up next. Don't go anywhere, everybody. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Hit up impactgamingcenter.gg. Check us out on all of our social media platforms. I've been Alex. Until either the next video or the next round, catch y'all on the flippy flop. Adios, everyone.